If you've ever watched the movie The Castaway with Tom Hanks, and spoiler alert for those who haven't watched this um, movie before, maybe you should skip this particular um, episode of mine until you've actually watched the movie, or at least get some idea of what the movie was about, because then you'll understand more about um, what I'm about to say. You see, um, and I'm not going to go into the full details of the movie. It's basically a guy who gets stranded on an island, and the things that he has to overcome, both physically and mentally, to be able to survive where he is. And according to the movie, he had been stuck on the island for almost 4 years. Now, most people, and I think especially when you're younger, you might not want to watch a movie like that, and you will not really get it, in the sense that you will not really understand the full meaning of it. This is something that you will probably appreciate more as you get older, I suppose. But when I was younger and I watched The Castaway, um, I kind of thought it was a boring movie, because what am I going to spend 2 hours watching a movie about some guy stuck on an island? I don't know how long the movie is. I think it's 2 hours. But now that I'm older, I get it. And ironically, I envy that guy, right? I think the I think that uh, the movie was good until he left the island, right? Because I know some people might not agree with me, but actually felt that he was better off by being on that island, away from society. When he re-enters society, he can't fit in, right? He has changed so much. You'll notice at the beginning of the movie, he is a very verbose person. He talks a lot. And then when he's on the island, the only companion he has is a volleyball. And when he eventually is rescued and brought back to society, you can see that he's a totally transformed person. He doesn't talk that much anymore. He keeps his words to a bare minimal. He has no need to be that verbose as he was before. And I, now that I'm older, I appreciate the transition that the character, I forget the name of the character that right now I forget the name of the character that Tom Hanks played. I forget his name. But really, I think we should all envy the the castaway, right? I think he made the biggest mistake leaving that island and coming back into society. Of course, there's a lot of creature comforts in being in modern society. You get hot showers, you get TV, you have a kitchen with all the things that you need to prepare a meal. But on the island, you have something that nothing else in society can give you. I think that is peace of mind and solitude. I think that the character in The Castaway um, really was able to have more peace, right? Maybe initially he was hoping to be rescued off the island when he was cast onto it. But I think eventually he goes into the motion of living in that island and gets accustomed to it. And I understand that maybe there was an urgency on his part to want to return to society. Maybe he felt that was the answer for him. But I think that somebody who truly understands peace and solitude would not want to leave the island. He would understand that I have everything I need over here. Why would I want to go back into society and go through all those problems that people create? And let's be honest, right? 99% of people's problems is people, right? Like most of your problems that you go through is people, right? It's related to people, right? If you want to sleep at night, but your neighbor is playing his music loud, that's a people related problem, right? But if you were staying somewhere all by yourself, right, you don't have to put up with your neighbor's loud music. And I'm just using the neighbor's loud music as an example. Or other people telling you what to do, right? If you are able to live by yourself, right, uh, far away from people, and you would be able to, you'd find yourself um, wanting to not be with people, right? You'd want to, if you could live in a cabin out in the woods and you have all the amenities you need, right? And especially if you had something to do, you had maybe a ton of books to read, or you had a little garden to keep yourself busy, and you can be with your thoughts and unwind, gradually unwind. I think that you would actually find more peace being away from people, right? Besides natural disasters, right, which I'd say is a major problem, other than natural disasters such as hurricanes and earthquakes and so on, which nobody has control over, most of the problems that you'll encounter in life are people related. Now, I'm not talking about the problems you created for yourself, which, if you did, is something you deserve. If you created problems for yourself, there's no one to blame but yourself. But here I'm talking about things that are external to you. Like, for example, that's why I used the noisy neighbor as an example, because that's a very simple example to use. If you trying to keep up with your neighbors, right? So if you got a neighbor who looks over the fence and tells you how nice his car is, and how come you don't have a car or something like that, which I really think high fences make good neighbors. Um, anyway, that's a topic for another day. Is being away from people, being away from neighbors, being away from um, society. Once you are able to, and that's another benefit. if you can be like the castaway and you're away from society, but you don't miss society and you don't miss people, and you're completely content being by yourself. And again, I emphasize that I think the castaway didn't truly learn to appreciate himself, because if he did, he wouldn't want to be rescued off the island. He'd want to stay there. And and that's the problem with people. Most people are needy. Once you understand, most people are needy. And now I understand we are biological creatures. We're part of the primate family of species or whatever you call it. Right, we're part of the apes or um, the great ape uh, um, lineage or whatever you call it. We're primates. We will desire, we will biologically desire to have social interaction. Right? We'll want to talk with people. It's natural, it's biologically wired into us. But I think if you are able to overcome all these urges to want to hang out with people and talk with people, and if you can find a place to be by yourself, alone, right? Even if you could live in a quiet part of a city and you have your own apartment and you can live alone. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that, I mean, ideally, if you were stranded on an island and you were able to live, why would you want to come back to society? But even if you do live in a busy city and you can find a place to be by yourself and you can keep away from most people, I think a huge chunk of your problems will be solved. Now, in my observation, I think this will be very difficult for younger people to do.